I'm serving Mickey Mouse Clubhouse today, and I'm just out for a walk, and it's like 28 degrees. I don't even want to think about that statement very much. Good afternoon, it's lunchtime. You know, for as much time as I spend cleaning this house, this frame always just looks so chaotic and disorganized. I'm having soup because it is currently 36 degrees outside, which is a crime. And I don't make the rules, but for as good as cream of mushroom soup is, why does it have to look so nasty? I'm not even putting this on camera because to me this is like, the sound alone is enough. Okay, that's a lot for me to have to do that and then eat it. Okay, don't laugh. Don't laugh, you guys. I'm being for real when I tell you this. I included on my list of ideas for vlogmas of videos that I actually care about because I want YouTube to be a very authentic space. I'm saying that I'm being for real. Guys, tomorrow's video is one that I'm making for me and only me and no one else on the face of this planet. It's only for me. And that is something that I've wanted to do for a while, but I haven't really known how I wanted to do it. And that is a very serious building of an email campaign around my coffee grinder. I understand how this is going to sound, but I need you to understand that I'm coming from a place of very serious, genuine severity. When I tell you that tomorrow's video that I'm filming today, but will be out tomorrow, is one that I've put off because it felt like a thing I couldn't do on Instagram. And guess what? We're not on Instagram anymore. We're throwing out the rule book. Tomorrow's video is going to be me building an email campaign for my coffee grinder that sucks. It's horrible. It's awful. I'll include a little clip right here. Do you see this? This messes every single morning. I hate it. But I'm not going to buy a new grinder because why buy another appliance that is probably going to either be exuberantly, that's either going to be very expensive or not work to the standard at which I need it to work. This thing works and the mess will prevail. So the least that you can grant me is the time and energy of watching a video of me making an email campaign that I'm going to send out to no one. Oh, I should send it to my list, but I can't just abruptly send something like that. But I could like build a little ooh, wait, okay. So I could build a little segment. I could send an email out and say, hey, who's interested? Click this button, they get put into a segment, and then I could email that segment. Oh wait, that's kind of fun. Okay, I'll make the video first, and then before it gets posted, I'll send it over. Wait, that's so fun. Look, I posted about this on Threads not too long ago, but if you're not connecting with your audience in like a fun and creative way, someone else will. And I do this in a lot of different ways. The way I described it on Threads is I have some different segments. Like one segment I have is my like creeper audience, or like, I think I call it like the nosy segment, but it's people who like click on images that don't have calls to actions. It's people who, I don't know, find hidden links, and when they click on those things, I put them in a segment that tells me they're watching. I also will save images and upload them with titles of like, oh, you're being nosy, or I'll hide a link where like you wouldn't actually be able to see that it was a link. And the link will go to like a Google Doc with either like a gift card or a prompt for someone to tell me about their favorite part of their day. I try and have fun with it. And I feel like my audience has really resonated with that in the last 6 months. They lean into it more when I lean into it more. And so it's been fun. And I think I'm gonna do something like that. I think that would be really creative. And it kind of bridges this gap between email marketing and YouTube. Instead of sending out a campaign every single day with every new Vlogmas video, like I'm not gonna do that. I don't have a need for a strategy as intense as sending out every single day campaigns. But I do think people who are like, hey, I wanna get your goofy email campaigns, please send them to me, I would be happy to oblige. So I'm gonna have my soup. I'll catch you on the next work block. was very productive in that work sprint. So I'm happy about that. It's now 3 p.m. I'm going to throw my shoes on, go to the vet, go pick up coffee beans. I feel like there was another errand I was supposed to get done today outside of the house, but nothing's coming to mind. So I'm gonna take the win. And gosh, was there something that is gonna eat away at me? I'm sure I'll think of it as soon as I forget whatever it was I was supposed to bring with me. Alrighty, $200 later, everybody's got their meds, which is great. And I have the best vet in the world, and I could cry thinking about how incredible their staff is, but I'm not going to, because I don't need to cry on day 2 of Vlogmas. We'll save that for like day 18, day 24, those later dates. Fun fact, I used to be a vet tech, which I feel like grants me a peek inside the world of veterinary medicine. And man, I actually had the privilege of studying under some really awesome vet techs and veterinarians, but I've heard a lot of horror stories, and I really have seen where things can go bad very quickly. And yeah, I'm just like, yeah, it just is so nice to go into a space and feel like, okay, people care about my pet, people care about me, like they're gonna give me honest information. They have a ton of resources. They're also an animal hospital, and so like they're the people you go to for any and everything. Is it expensive? Sure, but look at this vehicle. This vehicle screams that I love my dog. It's time to go get coffee, so let's do that. I think I might get a little candy. I love a little bulk section candy. Did I? Where's my? Okay, I got my wallet. I recognize that today's video is not the most exciting, but I do think it is an incredibly realistic look at what I do all day, which is work and run errands and do the normal human things. Before I closed out this very realistic vlog for day 2 of Vlogmas, I wanted to share with you a tool that I use all the time. ThenCheckit is a platform where you can enter an email subject line and get feedback based on a bunch of things and see likely how well it will perform. So I'm just gonna show you what I typically do and how I use this thing, and recommend that next time you send an email, you give it a try, because I would say this has a pretty good track record of being able to recommend changes to your subject line to make it work better for you. Do I think it's going to give you the perfect subject line? No, because it's not really recommending text. But I think it works that muscle of figuring out what a subject line needs to do in order to perform well, which is something that if you're sending emails, you'll really benefit from. So anyway, say I am sending a newsletter to my audience, to a certain engaged segment of my email list, and I want to have them open the email. Go figure. This is where I will come to kind of workshop what that subject line could look like. So if it's a newsletter and say I went to the zoo, I could say, you can see lots of the tests that I have plugged in here. I went to the zoo this weekend. Zoo will not believe what happened. So I just threw any sort of random copy in here, right? Zoo will not believe what happened, and it's giving me an 88-point score. I am typically aiming for 99 and above on this subject line tester. And what does this actually even mean? Because you can be a 0 and you can be 100, but if you don't actually know what that entails, why I'm ranking at an 88, then how do you get better? Well, if you scroll down, there are a lot of features that make a subject line successful or unsuccessful. And in this case, scannability, which is kind of like how easy it is to read it. If someone is just looking on their phone and they are quickly scanning through their inbox, they might not be able to really interpret what this subject line actually says. So I'm getting an 80% there, which is fine, but I would like a 10 out of 10 on this one. It's written at a 2nd grade level, which is great. We really want it to be quick and easy to understand. the character letters, the number of characters and the number of words. This is something that is really handy. You can get a feel for how it's going to show up. Now, this is not a guarantee of how you will see it in someone's inbox or how you will see it in your inbox, but it kind of helps you build the picture instead of sitting here trying to just write a subject line. It gets you thinking, how is this going to show up in an inbox, and how easy is it to read? Is this like a quick read for someone who has a kid on their hip and is trying to cook dinner and I guess in their third hand has their phone checking their email? And it really strengthens that part of your brain that is trying to get better at this and trying to get people to be more receptive to the emails that you send. And then we have kind of like the sentiment. So is it friendly? What is the overall vibe is kind of how I would describe this one. We want it to be leaning more positive or neutral. This is not like a YouTube thumbnail. If you're familiar with how all of that works over on YouTube, negative stuff tends to perform better, which is, it's kind of painful. But in email, we're going more for an either upbeat or neutral tone. You can still play into the more clickbait sort of subject lines. There's plenty of people who do and who benefit from doing that, but you don't want to do it in a way that actually makes someone think something bad has happened, or that weird, icky feeling is going to turn people away because they have a bunch of other emails to read in their inbox aside from yours. So we're aiming for positive or neutral. We do not include reply or forward handles on our subject lines. No further discussion required. Then we get into some of these like things that will end up either in the promotions or the spam flagged bucket, which are free or, you know, any sort of really steep discount. I don't really include discount as a word in subject lines at all anymore. I might include some sort of copy that says like, I don't know, I play around with it, but I am very careful about how I position the conversation of a discount in the subject line, and this is a great tool to play around with what is realistic and what is likely going to get flagged. In that event, though, do not just rely on this. I recommend testing it by sending it to yourself, sending it to a couple different email inboxes. If you are testing emails and you want to get really good at it, have yourself a Gmail inbox, have yourself a Microsoft inbox, have yourself an Apple Mail email address. Like, we're trying different email providers to see how our email is going to show up in a bunch of different ways. So those two things are really important. Tab words. This one I don't actually really pay that much attention to because it falls to me in the same category. If an email is going to the promotions bin, a lot of people are not going to look there at all. And to me, that's the equivalent of a spam inbox. Those things aren't equal, but in terms of subject lines, if it's not landing you in the inbox, it's a lose-lose. Exclamation marks, I primarily avoid really any punctuation except for maybe a ... a comma. I'm really sparing with my exclamation marks and most punctuation. All cap words. Now, of course, I included believe in all caps, but you know, sometimes you can get away with it, but I think this teeters on the line too of that like neutral, positive tone is what we're going for. An all caps word feels a little kind of alarming or strong, that could be skewed negatively. Excessive punctuation, personalization. So the unfortunate reality with this tool is if I were to say, Kelly, I went down a point, but it doesn't read personalizations in this tool. So you can't really test how that will look. Now, I will use personalizations often, I would say, not all the time, but a lot of times in the subject line, I will play around with them so that it's not just this sort of a vibe where I'm just saying the name and then a statement. Like, I want it to feel like, hey, Kelly, Zoo will not believe what happens. This is so silly of me to use this as an example, but emojis, I love using emojis. I will be very strategic about that. Question in the subject line. I like questions. I think if you lean on questions too much, people get tired of it. I mean, because, you know, if you're sending them multiple emails a week, they're going to get a lot of questions from you. And I just try and space them out at least a week apart. And yeah, I do like all lowercase. And I typically do most of my subject lines in lowercase, so you can see that I will try stuff. But this, you know, obviously is not one that I ended up using, but I could say, let's include a Christmas tree emoji. Let's see where that gets me. Okay, 96. Let's get rid of this question mark, 96. Let's get you. Saying the word you is really helpful. Let's get you growing. You know, I'll just do this for a while until I get a score that I like and that I feel like represents a good checking of all the bases is kind of what I'm looking for. Lowercase and emojis, we covered all of that. So yeah, I'm gonna end the vlog here, but hopefully this is helpful. If you do end up using Send Check It, tell me, because I feel like I recommend this a lot, but I never know if someone actually tries it, and I use it all the time. And what they do, this is a tool made by Hobby Copy. They will send you emails pretty frequently. Maybe it's weekly. I don't know if it's weekly. They send them to me every once in a while, and they'll tell you like your stats of how well the subject lines that you plug into the platform perform on their ranking scale of all of the subject lines that people are testing using the tool. So I think it's kind of fun, and I thought I'd share with you. Happy Vlogmas Day 2, y'all. I will see you back here tomorrow, and I hope you have a great evening. See ya.